We'll get to Ron Magill here in a second. We're going to do 2 segments with him because Dragonfly Jonez from Twitter is doing a beast bracket on his Jenkins and Jonez podcast where he pits animals against each other, and this is Ron Magill's specialty. People love asking Ron Magill those questions. We will get to that in a second as well. But before we do so, Stugotz, once again, has taken his rightful space as the owner of the take. Sometimes a tie is good. Sometimes a tie is to be celebrated. He sees that people are mad at the U.S. women for settling for a tie that allows them to advance in the World Cup.
I don't get it. This wasn't, the elimination stage, the World Cup stage. This was the group stage. And what they needed to get out of that group and into the must-win stage is a tie. And they got it done.
But they don't look good, Stugotz. Like, that's not a team that they should be playing to a tie.
They look like they advanced. That's what they look like, yes.
They were celebrating that they advanced, but more than that, they were celebrating that they avoided what would have been considered the biggest upset in the history of Women's World Cup.
All right, so sometimes you celebrate relief, you celebrate a tie, you celebrate advancing. That's what they did. They had every right to celebrate today, and no one should be criticizing what that team in particular has done.
The United States had played 10 previous matches against Portugal on the women's side. The U.S. had won all 10 by a combined score of 39-0. They came 2 inches from being beaten, and it would have been you can't even overemphasize how big an upset it would have been. Now, having said that, Portugal's much better. They were ranked number 21 in the world. They're not terrible. And the past 4 matches versus the U.S. had been decided by only 1 goal. So a close game was not a shock, but it would have been a stunning upset had the U.S. lost. And they were cheering in relief that they avoided that.
I'm okay with that. Like, most times relief feels fantastic, and you celebrate relief.
You're allowed to be happy that you advance.
Right.
Carly Lloyd didn't like it.
No, and she and the coach of the team roundly criticized her for saying that it was insane to question their motivation. I don't think you want to question the heart of a team or an effort level when it comes to the World Cup. But there's no question right now that this American team is not playing like the team that won the past 2 World Cups. And if they have the performance against Sweden that they had earlier this morning, they're going to get their ass kicked. They could lose by multiple goals.
Is it more injury or more the world has caught up, if you had to choose one of the reasons?
Both things.
Team in transition.
They are injured. You could field certainly a knockout stage level team with the amount of injuries that they've had. It's unfortunately a huge part of the women's game. The injuries to their bodies seem to happen more and in more devastating fashion than it does to the men's game, and there's a lot of factors for that: biology and playing surfaces. It is a team in transition. The old guard is going away. The names like Rapinoe are still around, but not taking an active role. Alex Morgan, same deal. This is a new generation of really superlative talent, but the rest of the world has also caught up. Title IX gave the United States a huge leg up in the women's game, but a lot of really big brands, a lot of really huge clubs are pumping resources into women's sides. Real Madrid just straight up bought an existing team so they could skip starting the infrastructure. You have Lyon, which is a titan. Chelsea has arguably the best women's player on the planet in Sam Kerr. Arsenal. These are huge brands that many male football fans will just gravitate to that same brand, and there's actual money being pumped into that, and people are seeing a sustainable revenue stream, whereas here in the United States, a professional women's league, it's been a sordid history. It's been hard to actually sustain it over there, so the rest of the world is catching up, and I imagine the U.S.'s dominance is probably a tale for yesteryear, and this World Cup is showing, henceforth, there's going to be a lot more parity.
Coach Vlatko on the hot seat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, especially
I mean,
not even so much for today, but
to be.
for what he did against the Netherlands.
Did he make subs in last night?
You know what?
That was the big criticism.
A tie requires perspective, okay? Today it doesn't feel so great, but when they win the World Cup, they'll look back and say, what a tie. It requires vision and perspective, 2 things I am the best at.
Are you feeling okay? You're
don't
cool
know.
with this tie. It's a weird take.
It's a good tie. There are good ties.
No, Chris, you haven't been paying attention. Stugotz has been the world's greatest advocate for the tie. In football every year, when there is a tie, he continues to
Frank
tell
Reich.
you. Look, see what I'm saying? He has cornered the market. He has said the way to my future in this business is just argue on behalf of the tie more zealously than everyone else.
Ron
not
looks like
losing.
someone.
Ron, your thoughts.
Ron looks like someone farted.
Ron, you look like you're bored. You're bored by our show. We're wasting your time. A reminder to the audience to please support Ron Magill's substantive endowment for the animals. He is a caretaker. He really does good work taking care of the animals with the money you send him and also buying Cadillacs and nicer clothes. Ron, let's start with Orcas in the Keys. Explain to me what happened there, please. Why I think of them as a Pacific Ocean animal, even though I know they're wanderers.
Yeah, no, they're pelagic animals. They go through the Pacific and Atlantic, and they were just passing through. I mean, this is not going to be a resident pod of orcas in the Keys. They're rarely seen in that area because, of course, the water's fairly warm. But, climate change is causing all kinds of changes in migration routes and travel routes of different animals. I'm sure these orcas were just traveling through. People got to see them. I think that's a pretty fantastic opportunity, but don't panic. This is not going to be like, the next movie, the orcas killing people off the Keys. And as you can see, even by people that were there by the water, they were not being aggressive towards anybody. They're just traveling through, going on their way down. They're commonly seen now up on the northeastern seaboard, seeing off the coast of New York and New Jersey, places like that. So it's not a shock to me. It's uncommon, but not a shock.
So animals do take vacations. You've mocked me for this in the past. It's a nice little trip for them.
There you go.
I am going to panic because I think it's because they're hunting big sharks that have also made their way down here. We're seeing a lot more sightings of great white sharks down in the area, and orcas hunt great white sharks. So maybe they're chasing the food.
Mike, you have a possible point there. I'm not going to negate that at all. I think that's a possibility.
Are you in a whale chat?
Again, there's checks and balances for all kinds of animals. And that's what you're seeing right here. If they are following bigger prey, now normally they feed on things like seals and sea lions. So that's what they're going to find in the Northeast coast, down off the coast of California, down the Pacific seaboard. But, they could be adapting, saying, hey, listen, no sea lions down here, but there's some big sharks. Let's take care of that.
No, Ron, it can't be both things. Mike says we have to panic. You say we don't.
No,
Do we panic or do we
Mike
not
says,
panic?
Why is Mike panicking if they're going to be eating sharks?
Well, you start with sharks, then you run out of sharks, and what's next?
Because that means there's more great white sharks down here in the area when we used to not have
well,
as
you should
many.
be panicking. I guess you should be happy that they're kind of balancing that population, and you don't have to worry about that, Mike.
No. Great white sharks, bad. Bad.
Mike.
Don't like them. Don't like them.
But he's saying they're killing them.
Mike, I'll tell you this. I was in South Africa trying to go see great white sharks, and there was a resident pod of orcas that had gone into Sharks Bay there. And you know what? There were no great white sharks at all because they got out of town. They realized there was a problem there.
Yeah, so my panic is subsiding because the whales are scaring off the sharks the way that they did in Seal Island.
See, that's what I'm talking about, the balancing thing.
Okay.
Balance for you.
Okay, I'm better now.
We get it. You swim with sharks, Ron.
Happy Shark Week to everyone. We've got drone video here of a fishing boat off the South Florida coast. It is getting rammed 8 times by a bull shark, and the captain compared it to being shaken, quote, like a bag of popcorn. What is happening? What's happening there?
I don't know. That is, again, another uncommon behavior. That's not something I've seen out of bull sharks, even though bull sharks are aggressive sharks. It seems like it's going after the engines there. Something about the sounds of the engines or something was getting that shark agitated. But the bottom line is that's not a common behavior in sharks. So, again, Dan, just like with people, you will have an anomaly in animals. You will have an animal that's totally out of character with the rest of its species. We humans know we have our fair share of wackos. So that is something that can occur in the animal kingdom too. I don't want people to look at this incident and say, oh my God, they're going to start attacking all the boats now. Probably next week you'll have more videos of sharks attacking boats and I'll have to eat my words. But the bottom line is this. That's an anomaly. That is not a common thing. Bull sharks are an aggressive shark. They're responsible for a lot of quote unquote attacks, what I like to rephrase as encounters with people. So I don't know.
Ron, here's a headline I never thought I'd read. Zoo in China denies speculation that its bears are actually humans in disguise. Apparently there was a Malaysian bear that was standing upright with such human-like posture that it fooled people. And I'm wondering, is it the least bit plausible that you could put a human being in a very realistic animal costume of any kind for a full day at the zoo and fool people?
Yes, I think it's very possible.
What?
No, I think it's very possible, and I'll tell you why. Because especially in this heat that we're having now, animals just like to curl up and sleep under a tree. We could certainly put people in suits just with a bunch of fur on them. You wouldn't even have to put a face on them, curl them up and sit on the tree, and they're going to say, oh, there it is. There's the bear. There's the lion. Whatever it is.
They have to move, though. Like they have to walk.
I'd like to see you try this.
No,
Greg.
I would do
that
that.
effort right there is not real. That is not a real bear.
I'm the size of a small bear.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a quick story.
true.
We worked with the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency to actually do a sting operation on a guy by putting a guy in a gorilla suit. We put him in a cage. No, I'm not making this up. This is the truth. We put him in a gorilla cage because this guy was trying to buy a gorilla illegally. And he came to one of us at the zoo, and we, of course, notified the authorities. No, I'm not making this up. This is true. We put an agent in a gorilla suit.
Did he arrest him? Did the guy in the suit arrest him? Did he whip off the head?
We put him in this cage, like, okay, you're going to buy this gorilla illegally. We're going to get it. You got to come pick it up in the middle of the night. We put a bunch of gorilla poop in with this guy, so it stunk like a gorilla and everything. And yes, as soon as the guy came, gave the money, exchanged to the agent, the guy in the gorilla suit opened the cage, and they arrested the guy. That's a fact. It's on the news. You can check it out. Google it. We got that guy. He thought it was a real gorilla. He said, yes, great, okay, here's the money. And the guy comes out of the suit and arrests him. This is a true story. This only happens in Miami.
We believe you.
We believe you, but my question is, did the guy in the gorilla suit make the arrest? Like, did he whip off?
Was he the cop?
Did he cuff him as the gorilla?
No, he didn't cuff him as the gorilla. No, they had other agents there. They got him.
All right, Ron, stay right there. We have more questions for you. And as I said, this is one of the more popular things that people like to do with asking Ron all sorts of questions. Would this animal defeat this other animal in a fight to the death? So we've got Tyler Puryear. He's Dragonfly Jones on Twitter. He's going to join us next. The Beast Bracket is something that he's doing on his podcast, which I urge you to listen to, the Jenkins and Jones podcast. It is very funny, and Tyler hustled his way up the ladder, made himself famous because he was very good at Twitter. So I'm happy to support the things he's doing. That's next. Have enjoyed this guy's work for a long time. Happy to have him on the show. Dragonfly Jones on Twitter. I urge you, the Jenkins and Jones podcast is funny. It is different than most of what you're hearing out there, so I urge you to listen. The latest thing they're doing here, I don't know if it's the first time they've done it or if they've done it before, the Beast Bracket. Thank you, Tyler, for making the time for us. Explain the Beast Bracket so we can get here Ron Magill in the mix to give you some definitive expert answers on what it is you've got going on. But simplest explanation you can give us for the Beast Bracket.
All right, appreciate you having me on first and foremost. Basically, the Beast Bracket is, we're bored as hell. There's nothing to talk about in the summer. So, I came up with this idea of having, hypothetical animal fights, right? Like, I'm not a trailblazer in that regard. Those discussions have been going on forever. But the wrinkle I added here is we were going to do a tournament and we were going to do a catch weight. And with the catch weight is, 1,000 pounds, per animal or per animal combination, right? Because, all combat sports have weight classes. And I felt like that was a component that was missing from the very serious scholarly discussion of hypothetical animal fights. Because, silverback doesn't stand a chance one-on-one versus a grizzly. But if we had, say, 2 500-pound grizzlies versus 3 330-pound silverbacks, it gets interesting with that one silverback, wreaking hell playing free safety. So, that was just, the new wrinkle we added to a very, ancient debate here.
What are the upsets that you've had so far? What has happened so far in the tournament worth noting?
It's been chalk for the most part. We've got, the Elite Eight is, 4 1 seeds. The lowest seed in one of those Elite Eights is the 3 seed, which is the Honey Badger. It's 25 of 40 pound of them. There's been some controversial decisions. Like we had 10 wolves advance past 5 mountain lions, and I'm not sure if I'm riding with that, for instance. But yeah, not a lot of upsets, but a few controversial decisions.
All right, Ron, what do you think of his controversy, the one that he just mentioned there? What do you think would happen there?
Well, the thing is, wolves are social animals, and they work together as a pack. So they have an advantage because that's their natural instinct, whereas mountain lions are solitary animals, and they don't know how to work together as a group or a pride or whatever you want to call a group of mountain lions. So I don't think it's too out of the question to think that 10 wolves may be able to take 5 mountain lions. Now, having said that, the bite of a wolf is not as impressive as that of a mountain lion. Of course, mountain lions have those claws that are an added weapon. But I still I still don't think it's a given that the 5 mountain lions would win. I think the wolves, because of their social structure, because of their intelligence of working as a team, have an advantage.
Tyler, what are some of your other controversial, before we get to the final matchups here, what other controversies can be settled by Ron here that are worth noting?
We had 3 silverbacks defeat 25 wolverines in a runaway. And I do not think that the silverbacks get past 3 silverbacks get past 25 wolverines. Where are you at with that, Ron?
I agree with you there. I agree with you. Understand that silverbacks fight to defend. They don't fight to kill. They fight to defend. And their powers, of course, and their arm strength and their teeth. But you got wolverines that are very fast. It takes one wolverine that is instinctively a killer to just get into one jugular vein. If you got 24, and the gorilla's going to bleed out. The gorilla's going to, a bite of a wolverine can sever the tendon in an arm and a leg and a hand and an ankle, an Achilles tendon. The gorilla's incapacitated. And so once you incapacitate the animal and all those serious wolverine bites take effect, that thing's going to bleed out.
What is the minimum number of wolverines that would take out 3 silverbacks?
Oh, geez, Dan. I don't know. I would say probably 15.
Wow.
All right, let's do this, Tyler. What do you have here? What is your first matchup? How many matchups are we going through here?
Yeah, we've got the Elite 8 matched up right now. So in the Steve Irwin region, we have the 1 seed bison, 1,000-pound bison versus the 3 seed honey badger, which is 25 40-pound honey badgers.
Oh, that's no contest. The bison's dead.
You think so? Because the bison's running away with it in the polls.
Yeah, well, the bison doesn't have a chance because the bison's only weapon is its head and its horns. It might be able to do a little kicking, but that's not going to be anything. You got these. Man, I have worked with honey badgers in Africa. I've watched one honey badger chase away a full-grown lion. One flipping honey badger, like a lion urinating. There's no contest. That's the easiest one I could choose right there. Boom, honey badger. 25 honey badgers? The bison is so dead.
Gonna make some bison burger out of that dude, huh?
Absolutely.
How many honey badgers would take out a 1,000-pound bison? It wouldn't take 25. It would take how many?
It would take, I would say 10. I'd still feel very safe with 10.
Okay. Well, while we're here on the bison, can you give some insight into how dangerous and deadly and athletic the bison is? Because a lot of people have scoffed at it being a 1 seed.
Oh, no, listen, it's a very powerful animal. It's a very quick animal. People look at the bison and think, this is a big, bulky animal. It can't be that fast. Oh, no, they can be very fast. And they're very powerful. But again, their strict only weapon is their heads. The bison is an herbivore. It eats grass. The only thing it has in those horns and the heads is to fight each other so it can have a chance to breed the females and get territory. Honey badgers are killers, man. They eat. These things are the most vicious. And the noise they make when honey badgers alone, the noise will disorient the bison so badly. It's brutal, man. And I just see that the bison has no chance. No chance. A honey badger, I have seen honey badgers take out leopards. It's unbelievable.
How many Chris Codys to take a full-grown lion?
Wow.
100. And you have to sacrifice at least 50 are gonna die in the process.
While we're here, we had 5 200-pound humans who were the number 32 seed in this 32 seed tournament, right? The lowest overall seed. First round matchup was against 2 500-pound tigers. How many humans would it take to take out 2 500-pound tigers?
It would take an enormous amount, over 50. And again, in that process, the majority of the humans are going to die.
How many Stallones?
Tyler,
like 100 Sylvester Stallones.
What is your next matchup, Tyler? What he's almost 80. Tyler, what is your next matchup?
Stallone is old as hell. 2 500-pound tigers versus 1 1,000-pound polar bear. Who comes out of that one?
I'm going to go with the tigers because they're going to be quicker. The polar bear is an incredibly powerful animal, but does not have the jaw strength of a tiger, does not have the quickness of the tiger, has claws, but the claws are not as effective as a tiger. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the 2 tigers, definitely.
Okay.
What else you got, Tyler?
We've got, in the DMX region, 2 500-pound grizzlies versus 3 330-pound silverbacks.
Oh, the grizzlies. Again, the silverback is not a killer. It's a fighter, but it's not a killer. The grizzlies, now I'll say grizzlies, not black bears, not the other bear. The grizzly bear can be a killer. I've seen, one grizzly bear take down a full-grown elk without a problem, with a full rack. So the only weapon that the gorilla has are those teeth. And again, it could give you a pretty good punch. It's very powerful that way, but grizzly's going to take them out.
Ron,
Okay,
why?
and so that one silverback, that's playing free safety there, he doesn't count at all. He's inconsequential with all this.
Yeah, because again, silverbacks, gorillas are social animals, but silverbacks are the peak. That's not to say that they wouldn't, in a pinch say, you know what, we got to help each other out here, brother. We're no longer just the king. We got to be two princes here to work this out. But yeah, grizzlies are fast. They're very powerful.
Gotcha. Okay. And the last Elite Eight matchup in the Pigeon Man from Hey Arnold region is 4 250-pound lions versus 8 125-pound jaguars. Because I honestly think a jaguar isn't at that much of a disadvantage one-on-one with a lion, period. Where are you at with that?
No, I don't think so either. I would definitely give the jaguars the, when you're going weight to weight, even to even, I would give them the edge for sure, because they are really one of, if not the most powerful cat, at least in the Western Hemisphere, pound for pound. Their jaw bites are unbelievable. I mean, I've watched jaguars jump into the freaking Pantanal and grab, 8-foot caiman out of the water and snap their neck.
8 Doug Petersons, Ron, versus 4 Dan Campbells. Who wins?
Who's Doug Peterson?
Coach of the Jags.
Tyler Ford.
Oh, I see.
Tyler,
I'm going to go with Campbell. I like that guy Campbell.
Yeah,
I think he's a good coach. I like
he's a badass.
For the uninitiated, Tyler, why is it the DMX region?
We just picked, some animal lovers, some famous animal lovers, like Steve Irwin, Big Boy from Outkast. Big Boy from Outkast breeds like owls and all types of shit. DMX had a love for pit bulls, and the Pigeon Man from Hey Arnold. One of my favorite cartoons ever. So.
Do you have any other questions for our animal expert before you tell people why they should be listening to the Jenkins and Jonez podcast?
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and read out the field of 8, and I want Ron's opinion on who he thinks takes it all. So we've got 1 1,000-pound bison, 25 40-pound honey badgers, 2 500-pound tigers, 1 1,000-pound polar bear, 2 500-pound grizzlies, 3 333-pound silverbacks, 4 250-pound lions, and 8 125-pound jaguars. Who do you think comes out of all that?
He's taking the Badgers. He's going to take the Badgers.
Actually, it's a toss-up between the Badgers and the Jaguars.
A man of taste right there. I think the Jaguars come out of this. I think that they're the best combination of numbers and strength and power left on the board.
I agree with you. It's tough. It's just those honey badgers. Bro, I mean, I've watched those things in a while. I've watched them make a full-grown lion just pee all over itself, run away in fear. It's one honey badger against a lion. It's unbelievable.
Especially,
while we're here, I feel like there's a big lion propaganda machine here, because I've seen a lot of clips where this courageous lion is really out there looking cowardly. Is it overblown that they're these brave, courageous, fearless animals?
Overrated.
Look at the Wizard of Oz.
Lion is definitely overrated when it comes to being this aggressive. Really, actually, the lioness is much more, to me, dangerous than a lion.
Put it on the poll. Look at the Wizard of Oz at LeBatard Show. Yes or no? Is the lion actually cowardly, or is the lion overrated, is what I should say. And tell them before you get out of here, Tyler, why the Jenkins and Jonez podcast is something they need to be listening to.
Yeah, there's no podcast like us on the planet. I know everybody says that, but we really are just, we have fun with this shit. You can find us on Twitter at Jenkins and Jonez. That's Jones with the Z at the end. The pin tweet is the thread of this actual bracket contest, where we've got the video kind of promoing, giving you some insight into it. And if you scroll through it, you see all the matchups that have played out already.
Happy to see your success, sir.
I appreciate it.
Not a lot of stories like yours. Appreciate it. Thank you for being on with us.
For sure. Appreciate y'all for having me, man. Thank y'all so much.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you, Tyler.
Mike Ryan, you had an objection there to a 25 seed winning.
Well, we can't hype up the bison after we just had it upset in a monumental upset by the honey badger, and then you're trying to put the bison over. I heard what you said just 5 seconds ago. Dumb.
Yeah, shouldn't be a 1 seed. Ron, good seeing you again. Thank you, sir. Happy to see your face as always. Take care.
Same here, guys. Have a good one.